Hello and welcome to episode 11 midweek edition of my route to Bergen City Marathon 2026, where I'm following a training plan devised by ChatGTP, which is heavily influenced by the training philosophy and methods of Lee Grantham, which you find all of his YouTube videos in the search bars and that. So basically I've enjoyed following his kind of videos for pretty much like the last year and a bit, and just really like the way he does his structure. So I can't actually get him as a coach at the moment. I would love to kind of speak to him on that one at some point. So the next best thing is to kind of use the information that he gives on his YouTube videos and kind of put that in to ChatGPT and see what comes out of it. So I'm running Bergen City Marathon in literally under 3 weeks time now. So this is the last week of proper training before I start tapering. I'm just going to take a 2-week taper. And my PB is 4 hours and 12 minutes. So I'm just a normal everyday runner that just wants to get better, and just really throwing in some training into do it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm doing. I'm just following the journey and documenting it on Instagram, Neil_dad that runs, plus doing my weekly or 2 weekly videos on YouTube and that. So Wednesday today, so it's midweek as I said. It's only Wednesday obviously. So normally this is an interval session, but this week ChatGPT had put up, it was part of a PDF plan that he brought out and that. So it doesn't just change all the time, although it can go off piste. So you do have to keep aware of that if you're going to follow ChatGPT and constantly talk to it, because it will adapt a little bit, which a normal coach would do, but sometimes it kind of goes off of the way you want it to be. So yeah, what am I doing today? It's actually going to be a 25-minute continuous with a 10-minute, I think about 10-minute kind of float, and then another 10-minute continuous, but at higher rates. We're going apparently aerobic threshold stretching. So again, like Lee Grantham says on his videos, we want to stretch that rubber band but not snap it. So he wants me to do the 25 minutes first at 150 to 155 beats per minute, then float to recover, and then the second 10-minute bit is going to be slightly higher. I think it was 155 beats to 160. So like I say, it's going to be higher than my kind of marathon effort on my heart rate. I think they're looking at that to try and keep it around 152-ish. So again, this is just all working out. Like, you're trying to make marathon pace seem easier by pushing too much, or not pushing too much, but going quicker in the normal runs, and that will not in the speed work. So the idea is that marathon pace feels easy once you've got these sessions done. You know what I mean? Because it basically thinks that your marathon effort is so much easier than what this session was, and that. So that's the way we're looking at it today. So it's not exactly a proper interval session as such. It's more of a continuous kind of threshold run, I guess, with another threshold run. So, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to do it in town, and that Loddefjord and a group is meeting up at a racetrack, but they're kind of doing a little bit of a pyramid thing, which is great, but it doesn't fit my needs / through the training plan and that. that's what it is with running groups sometimes. You know, they have to cater for everybody, where you have to remember that you're trying to train specifically for you. So as much as it's great running with the group, some kind of sessions you've got to do alone. So that's basically what's going to happen. I'll end up running around the big lake that they got there, or part of the fjordy bit, and we'll just see how that goes. And that, so like I say, really looking forward to it. Hopefully spring is here. I'm going to just try running in a top today without the jacket, slowly getting ready, because I want to wear the running vest on the actual day. So yeah, we'll call it there, and I will let you know how the run goes, and I'll catch you guys later. That's it, 14k done, 1 hour 21 minutes. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm not overworked, so you mean good warm up, and that, keeping to a nice heart rate, and then I did kind of two minutes of kind of like a slightly under the heart rate of what the first rep was going to be, just to wake up the system. And then I did 25 minutes, and I was kind of on the cusp as normal, and then yeah, felt good, great, not difficult. Then so that was on 155 beats per minute, then 10 minutes 3-minute recovery, and then he did a 10-minute 160 beats per minute, again on the cusp of that 160. We'll see what the ChatGPT comes back with all the data on that. But yeah, behind me now is basically the main square in Bergen, and that, so yeah, that's there. And if I turn around there, up at the back there, right at the back there, is basically where I will run for the end of the marathon. And flip it over, so you got the white building on that high-rise part. You got the second building on the left. You got the white little buildings with a red roof. We come in between those bits there, and then head up, basically in the direction where that guy's running now, but you know, straight up, and around to take us to that National Heritage bit of Bergen. But I'll come, with an update of all of that stuff again on the actual marathon day. But yeah, let me get changed, go through the data with ChatGPT, and I'll speak to you guys later. So now all the data's in ChatGPT. It like that. I was quite surprised, I guess. Like I said, I was always on the cusp of the bit, so I was getting a lot of heart rate high alerts. But I'm only kind of 1 or 2 beats over, and then, like I say, I kind of try and draw back a little bit, just to get into the range. So technically, I don't quite know my pacing on these heart rates, but then it is undulating, so it's a little bit different anyway. And you have to remember that Bergen City Marathon is not a flat course, so we have to kind of really go up and down with the flow of the heart rates and things like that. But obviously the idea is not to spike it so high that I can't recover and then jeopardize the rest of my run. But yeah, ChatGPT on that one obviously logged, when I put it into ChatGPT on the screenshots of my Garmin data, it can then log it and kind of see little bits that I don't see and all that lot. But he was very happy with the heart graph and that. It was like saying it was a smooth rise up into the 25 minutes. So it wasn't like a slow jog, like a warm up and then bang. Obviously, I did that 2 minutes kind of to prime up, so it goes up a step, then it kind of goes along, and then it goes up a step again, and that. So the body's ready, and the heart rate kind of knows that something's going to be happening, and that. So it like that smooth bit in there, and then obviously when I have that 10-minute or the gap between the 25 minutes and the 10-minute, you can see that clearly on the graph as well, where the heart rate drops and kind of resets itself, and that and then obviously that kick back up into the fast, the last 10 minutes, and of the core workout, and it's happy that there was no erratic spikes or anything like that. It liked how it went. So in all, the actual session went very well. And on the 25 minutes, I had an average heart rate of 154. Now, I was kind of told 155 was my max. I want to be between 150 and 155. Like I said, I always go up the higher end anyway. The max was 159, but then, like I said, there's a few little hill bits there, and I wasn't kind of necessarily dropping my pace to go up these small hills. It's not like some of the hills I got where I live. It's just like kind of, like you say, undulating bits, and then sometimes the gradient isn't as flat as you think it is. It's a steady hill, but it's just not. You wouldn't call it a hill as such. So then obviously the heart rate goes up a bit, and that. So 20 to 25 session was great. I really enjoyed that one. It did almost feel a little too easy, and that, but it's higher than my marathon heart rate. So it wasn't too bad. And I think, looking at the average time on that one, the average pace was 5 minutes 34. So it was quicker than what I've been doing on my kind of marathon pace segments anyway. But bearing in mind, when I'm doing these marathon pace segments, I'm kind of in more fatigue. So it'd be interesting to kind of hitting these kind of slightly lower beats per minute. And it's not really that low. I'm kind of looking at some of my marathon pulse to be about 152. And that on the steady sections of the course. So, it's not too far out, but it was, it was good. But it did seem a little bit too easy. Then, obviously, the reset, want to make sure that I'm ready to go again. Been a while since I've kind of done, well, it feels like a while since I've done bumping it up to kind of 160 and allowing to go for a bit. Although I know last week's interval sessions were bumping up to about 165, 170, I think. Can't remember, I have to check the video. But going out there again, and I was in a new area where I don't normally run, although I have run there before, but I've not done these kind of speed works there. So that last bit, I was supposed to hit 160 beats per minute, and I averaged 161. So happy with that. Like I say, I always hit that upper cusp of the level anyway. So maximum was 165. But again, there's bits of the undulating pathways and all that lot. It said that I obviously kind of pushed, but stayed controlled. And I did feel that, and to be honest, I was a bit upset that 10 minutes had finished. I could have maintained it for longer. Now, I know that is not going to be something that I can do in the marathon as such, maybe. Or I certainly don't want to kick out at 165 beats, or 160 to 165 beats per minute straight away. I think that would kill off my marathon straight away. But obviously, I can do it for a period of time. This was straight after work, no gels, no kind of real prep as such. I had a pasta lunch and things like that. So, was I fueled optimally for this session? Probably not, but it's life. But I'm not making excuses, because there's nothing to make excuses about in my eyes. I thought that was a really good controlled session. Might have been a little bit easier. The pace of that average was 5:07 per minutes per kilometre. So it felt good, and then if you think about London block, I was kind of aiming for about 5-minute kilometers. And I was about 165 beats when I was doing those training training runs on there. So this, we're on 161 average, maximum 165, and 507. Now I'm not getting ahead of myself and all that lot, but I just wanted to kind of put it in perspective of where that training block was, this training block, where I don't know these paces as I'm going out because it's all to heart rate. But knowing I'm kind of near about there, but this is flatter than what the course is, and this is only 10 minutes. I'm not looking at doing 5-minute kilometers. That's a 3-hour 30 marathon. I'm not looking at that. But it was just interesting to see that I wasn't that far off on the pace. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not gunning for that. I want to get a sub 4. I would love a sub 4. And I think the training is kind of putting me into that position, definitely. We're going to see on the big long run on, my last long run on Sunday coming up, because this session has kind of fully given me the green flag to kind of see where I am. I'm going to do it on the Bergen City Marathon course. So we're now kind of really getting into this bit. People that are doing marathons now, some taper for 3 weeks, some taper for 2. So some people are now on their taper. I'm doing my taper after this long run on Sunday to give me a 2-week. So that means, we are so close to seeing where I am and what I can do. I think we'll talk to ChatGPT after next run, like the next long run and that on Sunday, to kind of see where I am and what kind of pace we're looking at now and that. So it was an all in all, good session. ChatGPT doesn't think I kind of undercooked it or overcooked it. I kind of feel maybe it was undercooked, but I've been having this a little bit. If watching some of my earlier videos on this block, that I just don't feel that it's pushed me. But also I'm wary now that we are less than 3 weeks to the marathon. As much as I kind of doing my long run still and all that lot, I'm beginning to get that cotton wool and wrapping myself around it. This time last year, when I was training up for London, 2 weeks before this, I kind of did my back. And it turned out that was a prolapse. So I don't want that again. So I'm being sensible. To be honest, a lot of people say the fitness gains have gone now. They won't arrive. What I do now won't arrive for the marathon. So it's all about kind of maintaining, being ready, and letting the body heal up. Yes, I've got this extra kind of long run to do, but that's more mapping out, and I don't feel that it's putting strain on my body, and a 2-week taper is fine for me. So we're looking at that. We're in a good position. So I'm kind of, just kind of getting ready to go, basically. Rest up, fuel up, just be ready. Julian, thank you so much for watching all these videos and the comments that you post and that. It's nice to have the interaction there. Good luck on Saturday or Sunday at Brighton. Really good luck on that one. I hope your Achilles kind of niggle is part of the paranoia of the taper, and that you can actually succeed and go well and that. But all the very best in your Brighton Marathon at the weekend and that. So rest of you, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video when we talk about the 32k with marathon pace long run.